Morning, everybody. Today we are going to make pork back ribs on the barbecue. So this is, for me, a slow cook method. There's lots of way to cook ribs. I picked up 2 packs of 2 full strips of pork back ribs. So we've got 4 full racks here. I'm having 7 people over, which would probably still be too many ribs, but that's okay. I made the potato salad yesterday, which that video is already posted. So if you want to check that out, that's a lovely creamy potato salad that works delicious for any sort of barbecue. And so today I'm going to make the rub, and we're going to get, the barbecue is on. I've put it on low, and we're going to keep that going. So what I like to do is a slow cook method. What we do is we're going to put them in my pan and make this rub up. Like I said, it's preheating on the barbecue, and then we're going to get those ribs all covered in the pan, covered with some tin foil, and we're going to slow cook those on the barbecue all day. I prefer to do slow cooked. Out of all the ribs I do, that's the most requested. Everybody seems to really love them. So I kind of just put them on the low and let them go all day. So probably about 4, 5, 6 hours, and I'll check them periodically. If they're coming off the bone a little bit, then I know they're ready. I can take them off. Take them out of the pack, let them dry just a touch, and then when, I don't know, about a half an hour before you're ready to eat, you want to throw them on the barbecue with some delicious barbecue sauce. So we're going to make the rub. This rub here I made last week for another barbecue I did, so there's not much left of it here, so I do need to make more. So I'm going to show you what I generally do for my rubs. You can pretty well put anything in them you like, or buy a pre-made one. That's fine too. I don't really do measurements, but we're going to figure out approximately what the measurements would be for this many ribs. But you can make it, and then, like I said, keep it ahead of time. So just use as much as you need. So I'm going to put in, probably 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, not packed. Just kind of dumped it in there. You can see that there. Okay. And then my spices basically I use is salt. I just use table salt for this. The coarse is a little bit much. Paprika, I have thyme there, onion powder, I don't use onion salts, garlic powder, ground black pepper. If you like a little bit of a kick, you can put some cayenne in there as well. I have a little bit in this one of the cayenne, so I'm not going to add any more just because I don't want too spicy, and I don't know if everybody likes the spicy. So, but you can also get a barbecue sauce that has a bit of a zing to it too. So I'm going to put in a couple good tablespoons here of paprika. You can use smoked or regular. This is just regular, so you don't have to be fancy about it. We're going to put about a teaspoon of dried thyme. If you have fresh, you can use that too. I just prefer the dried. Maybe I'll do about a teaspoon and a half in here. There we go. But yeah, you can use fresh if you like. I just think the dried works better for the rub, and it holds better if you're not using it all. 1 good teaspoon of onion powder. So we're going to do a heaping teaspoon. This is just your teaspoon you use for your, for your coffee or tea or whatever. Garlic powder, I'm going to do, I'm going to do about an even teaspoon, a little bit of heaping, but not too much. We don't want to overpower it with garlic. And the ground black pepper, we're going to do, maybe a teaspoon is about the same amount as we have of the garlic powder, and some table salt, which I'll use another spoon because I don't want to mix in the flavors in my salt, and 1 good heaping, maybe I'll do 1.5 heaping teaspoons of salt. So I think that's everything. We're just going to get this all mixed up, and then you can kind of see once you're there if you think you have enough of everything. Get all those lumps of the brown sugar out. Like I said, the other things you can add in, Frank's, there's a Frank's red hot sauce powder that's really good if you want a little bit of a zing without too much heat. That's really good. Like I said, a little bit of cayenne if you like a little more heat. I would put like a even teaspoon of that, or more if you want a lot of hot, then you can put that in too. And that's about it. So I'm just going to smush this up here. I will add my other one in just because, we're going to be using it all. We might as well mix it in, and whatever I don't use, I'll just put back in the jar for the next time. So that's a pretty good amount there. You can do maybe even half of those amounts and just jar it up and, keep it for about a month. And I think that should do pretty good. So, all right, so we're going to get these ribs prepped, and I'll show you the next step for getting these slow cooked ribs on. Okay, so we've cut the ribs open out of the packages. Now I am using back ribs today. and which are probably one of the meatiest ones of the pork rib family. And we get these from Costco. They're really delicious ribs. A little pricey, but they're worth it. A couple of things here. So a lot of people will take, you can see, you can peel off this skin here and pull it back, or tendon, whatever you want to call it, silver skin. I leave this on. It's entirely up to you. If you want to take it off, you can. I find when I'm cooking, if I'm smoking them, I take it off. If I'm slow cooking like I'm going to be doing today, I tend to leave it on because this slow cook method makes the ribs extremely tender, fall off the bone. Most of this kind of cooks away and disintegrates, but it also does kind of help things hold together. So what I've done is I've washed the ribs off because I don't want to, you know, the sides here when they're cut, sometimes there's little flakes of bone, and we just kind of don't want that because it's you know, a little gross. No one wants to eat a rib that has that on it. So I've given them a quick rinse. I know a lot of people say not to rinse them, but that's the only reason I do. I don't rinse chicken because they say it's actually better to keep on the good bacteria on your chicken instead of rinsing it off. So I'm gonna cut these in 4, and we could, like I said, I'm having 7, maybe 8 people, but 7 for sure over for Randy's birthday for the barbecue. And so what we're going to do is, you can see all these individual bones here. I want to cut about dead center, so I'm going to cut center of the bone. These ones are all set to go, which is perfect. So you can just cut right straight through there. And you can see there's some nice marbling in here, so these are going to be super tender. I'm going to cut each rack, and like I said, I had 4 racks into 4. So this way you can have 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces if you really want, and they'll go far away. So if we don't eat them all, these are actually really great heated up the next day. Just pop them back on the barbecue, or you can cook them in the oven a little bit. I have a little extra piece of meat there, so we'll just set that to the side. So these are all cut up, and I'm just going to give my hands a little rinse here. There we go. And what we're going to do, put my towel to the side so I have it handy, is take this rub I made. Like, I've got most of the lumps out. There's still a few there, but it's not the big deal. Those are just the brown sugar. So I'm going to take a teaspoon on each one on the back, maybe a little bit more on the bigger ones. Teaspoon and a half, so add a little bit more there with the mix. It smells really delicious. I think it's going to be wonderful on these ribs. There we go. And we're just going to rub the entire rib. We want to get the whole back of it, get down the sides. If anything falls on your meat board, that's fine. We're going to rub that in. Now you could do this rub the night before if you want, and you know, let them marinate overnight. The meat, the flavor will get a little bit more in, but because these are a slow cook method anyhow, that flavor is going to get in there. So because we're doing this, so it's currently almost 10 o'clock here, so these will go on between 10 and 10:30. I'll probably take them off around 3. So like I said, we get a good amount of time, so we're just gonna get these rubbed in. There we go. So we just want to get that rubbed in back, side, and whatnot. I'm going to use a spoon again instead of my hands, because if you decide, or there's some left and we can still use it, put a little bit more on there because that's a bigger one. There we go. Yeah, if there's some of the rub left over, I can keep it for a barbecue for another day. This is great on chicken, beef, pork. You could do it on a veal chop or a steak if you like. Pretty well anything. This is a nice rub. Like I said, if you want some spice, don't forget, add a little bit of spice for you, okay? So we just want to get the ends as well. We want to make sure the whole piece is coated. So there we go. I'm all set there. So the edges are all done. So basically this is what you're looking for. You just want a nice beef bone that's all coated on all sides. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with these, rubbing them all down. I'm going to put them in my pan, and we're going to come back and I will show you what our next step is. All right, so we're back. So as you can see here, I have done all the ribs. They've all been covered in our nice seasoning mix that I made up. And what I like to do is, this is a slow cook method, almost like a braise, okay? And like I said, we're going to slow cook this on the barbecue. I'm going to put in probably a couple cups of water just on the bottom. We just want to get like half an inch of water maybe, because these will release a lot of moisture as well. So let's see there. Just a tiny bit more. I'll put it at this end. We don't want to wash that rub off. There we go. There we go. I think that's going to be good. So that's about a half an inch, or maybe a little bit more even. Wow, that's a lot more ribs than it seemed like when they were in the individual packages, but that's okay. So There we go, because that's about half an inch or so in there. Okay, so they all these lovely, wonderful ribs, and kind of offset them so they'll cook pretty evenly. I've got a heavy-duty tin foil here. We're going to tent this. I'm going to cover that over. A little noisy there, sorry about that. And we are going to take it and put it on the barbecue. Okay, so I've got the barbecue here on low temperature. We're just going to keep it on low. Thank God it's not windy today. A lot of times I do this and it blows right out. So we're going to take this, put it right on the barbecue, dead center there. And I could probably remove that, but it's not going to hurt because it's not going to go above that. And we're going to close this up. And I'm going to put the timer on for an hour or so, and we'll check on them in a little while. They're going to take some time. And we're just going to let those go. Like I said, if we keep them on slow cook for, it's 5 after 10 now. I'll probably check them around noon, and I think they'll be done between 2 and 3 o'clock, and we'll check back then. Hey everybody, so it's 1 o'clock. The ribs have been on the barbecue now for 3.5 or 3 hours, I guess, or maybe it's 1:30, I'm not sure, but anyway, look at these. Oh, they're already coming along beautifully, so hopefully you can see that. I'll lift this up. Perfect. We'll get a little close there. You can see these are getting lovely. There's a little bit of juice still in the bottom. You can see down bubbling down there, which is what we want. So, and yeah, they're coming away from the bone. So I think these are probably done. I'm going to give it about 15 or 20 more minutes. It will turn the pan, and I'm going to check them another 15 minutes. And if they're all done, we'll take them out and just keep them in the pan and let them rest for a while. I'll put them in the oven to just stay there at a warm temperature, but not hot. And yeah, when it's time to barbecue, we'll come back. All right, guys, so I've taken the ribs out of the barbecue. As you can see here, they're all cooked beautifully. There we go, literally falling off the bone. If I took a fork to these right now, they'd fall off. So we get a nice layer there. We want to keep them, well, I know I said a little dry before, but I don't want to keep them too dry because we don't want them burned on the bottom. Now, these are basically done cooking, so we're going to be eating a little later. So what I'll do is closer to, we're going to take these. I'm going to keep them covered in the meantime. I've add a little more water and just to keep them moist so they don't get too dried out. And we're just going to finish them on the barbecue. Lather some really lovely barbecue sauce on them, which I'll show you here. I use Guy Fieri. This is a Kansas City style sauce. It's amazing. It's got a tiny bit of a smoky flavor, but not too much. So that's what we're going to baste all these ribs with. And just a little tiny treat here, what we're making. I am doing those jalapeno poppers, which I do have the recipe for in the oven this time. And I'll finish those up on the barbecue as well. So I will come back when we get those on the queue. Okay, back. Time to barbecue the ribs, and so it's back here now, and I've got the ribs that were cooked in the oven that I showed you earlier. So what I've done is I've given this a little bit of a spray. Some people use oil and paper towel, so whatever works best for you. And I've got this on a low heat. I heated it up on high to start with and turned it on low. So here's our lovely ribs here, like I showed you from the pan. So I'm just going to put them down, face down a little bit here, and so I'm just doing 2 of these for now. And the little piece that fell off, like I said, literally it's fallen off the bone, so that's what you see. And I'm going to put on 2 of our jalapeno poppers, which I started it in the oven, so I just want to finish them up here on the barbecue. So we're going to leave these for just 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm going to put a load of, switch them over. I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on each side of the ribs, flip them, and barbecue again, flip them one more time, and flip the jalapeno poppers, and we'll get back to that when it's time to glaze. All right, so we're going to check these. Open up here, coming along nicely. So we're going to flip this over. There we go. We get some nice, well, that little bit came off, but that's okay. Some nice grill marks. Flip that over. You can see here a little bit of grill mark on there. Flip that little bit. Flip this over. This is just to finish them up. I did them mostly in the oven, but we want to crisp them up and get that barbecue flavor on there. I do like to keep these moist with a little bit of water. I mean, they're not dry, trust me, but it's so nice to have a bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of water on there. And again, I use this Guy Fieri barbecue sauce I get from Costco. It's where the ribs came from as well. Again, they're back ribs, and they are the meatiest ribs for sure. It's a little bit more expensive than you might get in some places, but hey, get them on sale when they can, and otherwise, yeah, get them while you can. We'll dribble on there. Just going to brush that in. This is going to be an amazing birthday dinner, and I'll post a picture of the entire plate when we're ready to eat, and that way you can get an idea of what we have for Randy's birthday. So these 3 recipes, which will be potato salad and the ribs, will definitely be on, or already should say, on the, I should say, the jalapeno poppers I've done on the video before, so you can do those. The potato salad video is already posted, and as soon as I post this one, you'll know all the recipes for the dinner what happens. So I'm just going to close it up for just a minute or two, and then we'll come back. Alright, so it's been about a minute. I'm going to get these flipped over here. There we go. A little bit on the bottom. You can see it sizzling a bit, which is just perfect. I'll put them come in there a little bit, and you can see a bit better. There we go. And we're just going to turn these jalapeno poppers. I'm going to move them up to the top to get an indirect heat, and just to kind of finish off there. So yeah, they look really delicious. You can see they're very yummy. And that little piece of meat that fell off of this one. I'm going to baste this again and flip it one more time after it's basted, just to crisp up and caramelize the bottom there. So let's get a little bit more of this Guy Fieri sauce on here. I guess you could do this from a bowl, but I just kind of put a big dump on there. I like it nice and sticky, so that's what we're going to do there. And just baste that on. I want to get all the edges, little bits on the side there. Sticky ribs to me are the best ribs, but depending how you like. If you want to add a little bit of smoke and you have some wood chips, you can soak those and put them in a little smoker box, or you can, sometimes we just put them on the top and let them burn away, but I'm not going to do that today. I haven't soaked any chips, but we're going to let that sit for a moment or two, and we're going to come back and flip those one last time. Alright, so we're going to get these flipped for the last time. Let's turn that over. Oh, perfect. That is perfect. These are going to be amazing. So we're going to let those sit for a few more minutes just to caramelize a little bit more. And if you don't have enough sauce on there for you, add a little bit more, okay? We'll just close that for about one more minute, and I think we're just about done. Alright, just flipping these for the last time. Let's see here. You might even have to turn that again just to see. Get one last little bit. I just want to make sure that this is not just saucy. We want to make sure this is caramelized, okay? So we'll let that go for a second or two. Alright, so I flipped these the last time, and I think we're done as far as I'm concerned. So you can see that there. Nice and juicy, caramelized, absolutely beautiful. So we're going to set these on our plate. The little bits that fell off. When I say fall off the bone, I mean that these literally fall off the bone. And when I get down to eating, I'll show you how easy they are just to come off with a fork. So I'm going to grab those last couple of jalapeno poppers. So we're each going to have one of those and a pot of ribs, and yeah, should be lovely. So we'll be right back and show you everything on the plate. And this, my friends, is barbecued, slow-cooked barbecued ribs here. We've got a jalapeno popper, a little hot there, and my potato salad. So all of these recipes are now on my page. So if you want to make this dinner for yourself or your family for the summer, feel free and go ahead. Potato salad, I just put a little bit of paprika on the top, and if you like some extra salt and pepper, you can do that. And these ribs, look, literally, I'm going to turn it here and keep like cutting it. Literally, you can just see how that falls right off the bone. Literally, clean bones, perfect, no fat, everything's just disintegrated. Pull that apart almost like a pulled pork sandwich. Just delicious. So if you like this recipe, feel free to follow my page, try it out, and tell me what you think. And you know, tell your friends about it. Follow if you'd like to see something else. You'd like to see me make something else. Let me know. Another few weeks, I'm going to be doing a cedar plank salmon, so we'll try to get that video up there along with some other, maybe a nice mango salsa. And yeah, anyhow, keep your eyes out. There'll be lots more to come. I hope you enjoy, and thanks again for joining the Messy Cook. Happy barbecuing. Take care, and we'll see you soon.